to Carlos Moreira joining us online. Carlos, please go ahead. The floor is yours. Good morning, everyone. I'm calling from Geneva. I'm the founder and CEO of WiseKey, and I was the security director of UN in Geneva. First, I would like to speak about the topic. The presentation is Metaverse, but Metaverse is not only the hyped name in the market, but with the evolution of the Web 3.0. If we go back in history, Web 1.0 was created in Geneva by the CERB, the nuclear lab. And back then, I was in the UN. We shared the same data center, and the mission was to connect computers in a fast way in order to create what we know a world where everyone have access with a link or URL and access the website without having to worry how to connect or where in the world you are. That was the revolution of knowledge. For the first time, we started gathering data from silos and we made it available worldwide. But back then, we realized one thing. Engineers working then, we identified that the digital identity of the human being was not introduced in the web architecture 1.0. The consequences are clear. Technology is exponential, is growing exponentially, and the human being is lineal, meaning that in order to cover 100 meters, we have to go meter by meter, and technology is going to get there faster than we can. Now we are on Web 3.0. We went from 1.0, an academic web, where it was a very slow. There was just some kind of information. Then we went to the social media web, Facebook web, and that human interaction where everyone started to get connected. And now we are in the metaverse web. What happens here? The problems that we have in Web 1.0 are going to grow exponentially in Web 3.0. In fact, I wrote a book, Transhuman Code, launched in 2016, where we started defining that there is a moment where the human being is going to have to take control of their digital identity in the metaverse. If we do not get into the dilemma that was just mentioned by Microsoft. An avatar could be me without being me, or I could do transactions with people that are not identified, or that I could buy NFTs in virtual spaces that are not verified by the original identity of the product.
So we need to do is something different. We need to start thinking of the problems that we have in cybersecurity. Some of them have been solved, but not all of them. Today, it's not a problem of cybersecurity in the cyberspace. We are in a more progress situation. We're talking about cyber war. Is the concept of war. For the first time, the concept of war has been applied. Countries are strengthening and they are separating from the original cause of where we develop a world wide web. China has their own WWW. Russia has its own. The European community is also developing their own, as Latin America and the Caribbean. So we're going to move into a model in which I called the aircraft carrier in the WWW, which was very similar to Web 1.0, which was silo protection. So we have different platforms in which we will be able to exchange information inside the metaverse. And the problem here is that it should not be the metaverse of one company. Metaverse is based on blockchain technology, decentralized technology, where anyone can have access to ledgers and be able to meet, create, sign a data objects or individuals in the blockchain. Therefore, the fact that we have an industry of $10 billion, which is an industry of these enterprises that have taken advantage of the deficiency of Web 1.0 and Web 2.0, in order to change the human being to a based on consumerism. Today, the companies don't see individuals as the value that they have as human beings, but as an individual that's going to buy and consume our product. So they perceive humans this way. Then humans become an object or a product of these companies. With this business model exists, Allah has allowed us to sell and to bring value to all of the things that we market. It won't be easy to correct, and it won't be easy to innovate. Another way to innovate to protect individuals, we need to consider these great forces that are involved. We need a metaverse, yes, but a more human metaverse. In the forum that was is going to be held in May, we're going to have a deep dive regarding metaverse. Just last week, we had a conversation in Panama. I had a conversation with another country that we were talking about what we define the entry doors for the metaverse. And this is a great opportunity for those countries that are service countries similar to Panama, where we got fintech and blockchain, and that they're now becoming the headquarters of metaverse or the opening doors to the metaverse. Metaverse should be completely decentralized. The concept of Facebook is stating that they are the metaverse. That is a problem because they already had the issues in Web 2.0, and their problems are going to expand exponentially in Web 3.0. People have lost trust and they don't then confidence. So there is a trust deficit right now. We don't trust in interacting with certain type of platforms. I was in the Vatican and speaking to the Pope regarding ethics and in artificial intelligence. In the metaverse, what is happening is we're bringing together technology. For the first time, we are in an era where there's an Italian renaissance, where technology has come together, AI, quantum, INT, and technology of algorithms. All these technologies for the first time are coming together and speaking to each other, and they're growing exponentially and creating the connection required to create another phenomena that is also exponential, which in accelerated, which is the individual growth of these different technologies. So we're in an era where the humans have lost control of this process, and this process is going to be controlled by enterprises that have algorithm systems and intelligence in order to make decisions. And we want to avoid this. We want to avoid a situation where humans lose control. We need to reposition humans within this metaverse architecture. I work with Microsoft, and we are going to integrate the DECA Core, which was an initiative launched by Microsoft and the Peace Association here in Geneva. One of the largest companies that respects human, and contrary to all of the different companies that I already mentioned that have a business model which is more centralized in the trading of humans. So here we're trying to find solutions for cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is an extension of a natural human instinct. It's a warrior instinct, an instinct that we see as we develop as a civilization, but in a cyberspace. One of the panelists said, how can countries that are under attack understand if something works or not? I can say that cybersecurity today, if someone today wants to attack you, they can go to the dark web, grab or buy a software that already exists, and download the models or the guides, and they can use this. This is very well organized. It's like an IP where hackers can access to malware that could allow them to make a living. That is what they do, and it's an employment creation system. If they're not able to be employed because they have certain limitations in the countries that they live, then they have found an industry that is very welcoming and represents billions of dollars. So my message is that Web 3.0 is going to bring new opportunities opportunities. It is a web that we will be able to decentralize technology. It is a web that's going to create value. We believe that the world that we live has been built by 200 million individuals that have thought, collaborate, and colonized. But now in Web 3.0, the number of engineers that are going to build that metaverse doubles. There's going to be a quite integration, and the only way for us to connect, to talk, and to see what we want to live in that metaverse then is by having this forum and talking to each other, sharing information, because we are about to start that. We are already on that fourth industrial revolution. Is going to create problems, definitely. We talk about climate change and the instability that we see. This could be resolved with the computing capacity that human beings have today. If we stop traveling and we stop consuming and buying things in an uncontrollable way, then we are going to have a better world. I think it's an advantage. I work with a lot of young adults. We've developed several NFTs, and we do a lot of virtual meetings. These young adults no longer have that need that other generations had of having things, to control things, to have a vehicle, to buy an apartment, to travel throughout and get to see the world. They do this through metaverse, and the experience or the emotions are almost the same without seeing the problems that our generations have seen. Thank you very much for allowing me the space to address the crowd. Thank you, Carlos, for your intervention. I know you have to leave before we conclude this panel. Thank you for being here with us.